He sells sass. He's a sassy lad. There's a lot of spankings and smackings. Sass.
Hee hee.
Welcome back to the Jack of the Shadows podcast, season 2, episode 10. I'm Eric VC, and as always, I'm joined by my favorite cool and gang, Dave and Adam. Say hello,
Ooh.
Dave.
Oh yeah, I'm cool.
I'll be the gang.
Say hello, Adam.
Cool. I'm hanging out with cool. I'm part cool. I'm the gang.
Yeah, you're hanging out with the cool. I want to drink some
Yeah.
Kool-Aid now.
Here I am, cool.
So, boys,
Hey, we
here
made it
we
to
go
double
and
digits.
begin a new book, A Crown of Swords, book 6.
Yeah, that sounds painful.
This
It does not sound comfy.
No.
This book marks the first book that kept readers waiting longer than a year from the previous publication.
Oh.
The,
I like this information.
The previous 5 books had been published almost yearly, beginning in January 15th of 1990 and ending October 15th of 1994. Crown of Swords was published May 15th of 1996, 17 months later. And the first publication, other than The Eye of the World, not delivered in fall. It's a shorter book.
That's what I thought.
It's not as many chapters. It's around 40. So
Wow.
it's
That
a
is
little
shorter.
it's a little shorter book than some of the others. For this episode, we read the prologue, Lightnings. Since we covered so much material last episode, we'll begin our segments as we always do with View from Dragonmount. We're going to try and keep these a little shorter moving forward so the episodes aren't so epic in
They're
length.
not so episodic.
We'll then move on to discuss Elida and Savannah and Dominatrices,
Oh boy.
and then discuss our favorite Black Aes Sedai and Paint It Black, followed by a look at the crazy happenings with White Cloaks and Children of the Corn. We wrap up our character discussions with Gawyn You Suck before concluding the podcast with Coplin of the Week and Who Leveled Up.
That is officially my favorite title of a section of all
cheers to these
time.
chapters. Cheers to
Gawyn
these,
You
titles.
Suck.
You
Because
like
we all know I have not
segment
liked
headings.
him for a long time. So
So without further ado, let's put on our Birkenstocks, grab a good walking stick, and climb up the majestic peak for our View from Dragonmount.
I'm climbing that mountain to run and
A
jump
good
and play.
walking stick is key.
It
Grandpa
is.
has one of those.
The prologue
Really?
opens.
Oh yeah, it's with a steel tip.
The prologue opens with Elida admiring the palace she's having constructed for herself. The foundation for that has been finished. She receives a message that the embassy and the captive Rand are just a couple of weeks away.
You just say her name and my brain hemorrhages.
Her plans to bring the leaders of all the nations under her rule are not going well. Several of the nations are playing coy or refusing her gestures altogether.
How about
Yeah,
that clock?
why wouldn't you be?
Alviarian enters and informs Elida of Tower 2's embassy in Ibu Dar. Elida can't believe that Nynaeve and Elaine have been raised to the shawl.
She's so annoying.
We learn that
She-
Elida is
yeah.
aware of the rumor that Swan and Logain are perpetrating regarding Logain being set up by the Red Aja to be a false dragon. Elida then orders the abduction of Nynaeve and Elaine, along with sending Tovine and 50 Red Aes Sedai and 200 guardsmen to capture the Black Tower.
Hey, didn't she initially say 400 and then all of a sudden went back down to 2, then it was 4,
That's-
then 2?
That's not going to end well.
She doesn't seriously understand what's happening. Because she also claims that there are only 4 dudes that can channel.
There's only 4 guys that can channel there.
Right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, that times 100 were at
Wait
Dumais
till
Wells.
she hears about Dumais Wells.
Yeah. She
She
probably won't. She'll be like, no.
Right.
She then
I didn't
breaches
see it.
Tower law by ordering the gentling and hanging of all men who can channel in the Black Tower.
Yeah. First she's like,
Yeah.
just gentlemen. Oh, wait. Let's hang them too. And then hang the dead people.
Yeah.
She is,
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
she's about 2 steps away from putting bodies on pikes.
It seems that only
not much
6
difference.
men who can channel have been found in the last 10 years. So this is why Elida underestimates the number of men in the Black Tower. 24 have been discovered in the last 20 years.
Eric, that's a dangerous number to say.
Alviarin concludes her report with the news that Egwene has been raised to the Amerlin of Tower 2 and is leading an army captained by Gareth Bryn towards Tarvellen.
And Jack Russell was not amongst those 24.
Elida doesn't seem concerned about that group, which is 6 months away. She's counting on her schemes that she has in place amongst Tower 2 and their ploy of using Egwene as a shield from punishment as signs that Tower 2 will never come to war with Tower 1. Then Elaida has a foretelling. Bong! Boom. The White Tower will be whole again, except for the remnants cast out and scorned, whole and stronger than ever. Rand al'Thor will face the Amaryllis Sea to know her anger. The Black Tower will be rent in blood and fire, and the sisters will walk its grounds. This I foretell.
That could mean anything.
After all that, that's what you say? My great vocal performance, Eric's ranting.
I mean, she's assuming that it's going to be her. It's not going to be her.
No, well, she doesn't believe that. There's the whole thing about Egwene. Yeah.
We'll get into that during Dominatrices. We then join Savannah in the moments before Dumai's Wells. She demands that the Shaido attack the Aes Sedai and rescue al'Thor alive. She then launches the attack that begins the Battle of Dumai's Wells. And then we witness Dumai's Wells from Savannah's point of view.
Up spears! Push spears!
Keep going, yay, spears!
Push spears!
Going forward!
Run away, spears!
Don't mind what you're seeing.
Stab
here.
my friends in the back, spears!
We return to the White Tower and Alviarin departing Elaida to return to her rooms.
You messed out her fingering the little cube in her bag.
She's joined by Missana. These meetings are regular, and Missana makes Alviarin recite everything she's witnessed in her meeting with Elaida, despite demonstrating in the past that she somehow already knows what occurs in those meetings. Alviarin has not figured out how this is possible. Their conversation reveals Alviarin's desire to have Elaida killed and Missana's awareness of the abduction and intended delivery of al'Thor. Missana rejects the suggestion of Elaida's murder, stating that she has her uses still.
Murdered by pirates is good.
While telling Alviarin that she can put all Elaida's plans into action, we also learn that some of Elaida's plans involve the capture of the King of Ilion, along with the Queen of Saldea. It seems she will try to offer the throne of Tyr to the High Lord Darlin. Alviarin asks if sending 50 Aes Sedai to the Black Tower was safe. Missana notes her curiosity and instead of answering her question, shows her how to create a gateway.
No big deal.
Next, we join Pedro Niall and Morghese Trakan playing a competitive game of stones. The interaction reveals Niall is confident he has a firm understanding of what Morghese is playing at, and it sure seems he has. He guesses at her plans to remove his army from her nation once they take control. She asks if Niall might move Galad to Amador so she can see him, but Niall rejects the suggestion as he wishes to use Galad to assist in controlling the queen moving forward. Abdallah Myrna enters and tells Niall he has found Elaine and Gawyn. Saban Balwer, Niall's true spy master, has found Elaine in Ibu Dar, and Niall has sent Jacob Carradine after him, so clearly this is
question.
True.
Why is he even saying this information?
Which one?
Why is he telling him this information when he's just about to kill him?
Oh, Myrna? Oh, because he's trying to get closer to him and distract him.
Yeah, and these are their conversations. Okay. He is the spy master.
He's kind of lulling him into a sense of shut up, whatever.
Right. Myrna claims the Black Aja has taken over the tower, which Niall dismisses as foolishness because he's had Balwer start those rumors. Is really funny. His very own rumors coming back to him. Omerna passes Niall a note delivered by a pigeon from Faizar, who has been sent to Tanchico to verify the ravings of his other spy, Veridin. The note verifies the Seanchan in Tanchico, and Niall considers this an existential threat.
It is pretty clever, I guess, handing him the note so he's distracted.
Then Omerna sidles up to Niall and stabs him in the ribs.
Shanked.
Hey, buddy.
Repeatedly.
Twice.
Eamon Valda then rushes in with some guards, shouts treason, and kills his assassin Omerna.
How did he know that was that? How did Valder know that was taking place?
We'll get to that.
It's his plan. It's all part of his plan.
He alludes to it and never quite says it outright, but we kind of get that feeling.
As he dies, Niall grasps the note he just read, hoping that it will be discovered in his hands and prevent the Seanchan from defeating the Children of the Light and taking over
We
the
think
Westlands.
it's the Seanchan. We don't really know in that note.
Rada Musanawa
your
then
old
enters
friend.
and prevents Valda from finishing off Niall, stating he would not want to have to inform anyone that in addition to killing Niall's assassin, he killed Niall as well. The conversation between the two men also shows there's no love lost between them. Valda refuses to hand Morghese to Asanawa because she's needed to take Andor. We also get further information confirming that before moving to Andor, the children intend to eliminate the Prophet and his followers. Valda reveals that this assassination was Asanawa's plan, and the two men continue to argue over Morghese. Eventually, Valda gains the upper hand, and then Balwer enters. Valda tells Balwer to gather those necessary for a meeting of the Council of the Anointed so that Valda may be elected Lord Captain Commander of the children. It also becomes clear that Valda intends to send Balwer away once he's raised to Lord Captain Commander.
You know, Balmore knows too much.
Valda finds the note in Niall's hand, but it's wine-soaked and illegible. And then we cut to Gawyn, who's sulking over the fact that he didn't kill Rand, and that he can't because he's made a promise to Egwene. So Adam.
Boo-hoo.
What shook your willow?
Well, first of all, I would like to start a company called Asanawa and Van Dien.
All right.
Great company.
That sounds like a 60s folk rock band.
It kind of does. Mine is, I find it interesting that Jordan opened up this book by backing up a little bit, and we get to go through seeing what took place in this other section that had already taken place. So it's kind of like, it seems like that should have been in the last book that we were in. And it's kind of great that we get to go backtrack and see what was taking place. I think it's a really unique way to do it. Has he done this before? I'm asking that question again.
Yes.
Yeah, we've jumped back in time, but I think that this has a specific purpose. Well, this has a number of different purposes, but one of them is, don't forget that this, like I mentioned earlier, this is the longest wait that readers have had before a book was published. And so some of the reason he does this, I think, is to recap what happened at Dumais Wells. You don't get...
That's a smart way to do that.
You don't get all of it here, but you do get... There's enough information here, I think, for you to recall what happened in that final chapter of the previous book. For me, my Willow was Elida and her smashing of her little fish figurine in anger while she's talking to Alviarin.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. It was pointed out like all these other things that have been around for so long.
Yes. She
gets angry.
This ancient collection of little tiny figurines that she uses as a way to A, distract herself, and B, also let those that are in the room realize that she's deliberately ignoring them and more important than they are. And she forgets that she has that little fish figurine under her hand. So when she gets really ticked off at Alviarin, she smashes her hand down and smashes the figurine in it.
I wonder how much that was worth.
Oh, it's probably priceless.
Yeah. Not anymore.
It's funny because it reminds me. I was watching Mel Brooks. What's the Frankenstein movie?
Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein. Thank you. And
Frankenstein.
Yes. And the beginning of it, when Gene Wilder, Dr. Frankenstein, is giving the lecture in front of his class, he does the exact same thing. He's holding a scalpel in his hand, and he gets really mad and slams his hand down on his thigh and stabs himself with the scalpel.
That's pretty funny.
This is a great comedic, trope that's been used repeatedly, and we get a little bit of Jordan humor here, which I don't feel like
Jordan humor there, and then also just showing that this woman just ignores the obvious.
Well,
in front of her.
I think it's a really good demonstration of the fact that she does not have control of her anger. Like she cannot.
Yeah,
she has
definitely.
a problem controlling her temper. Dave, what shook your willow?
Alfiarin learning how to make a gateway.
Yeah.
Like Adam said, no big deal.
Really weird that
changing the
Mesaana,
outcome of the Black Age going forward.
Mesaana chooses. She doesn't answer the question that Alviarin poses to her, which is, isn't it dangerous to only send the small number of Aes Sedai and guardsmen that Elida is going to send after the Black Tower? Mesaana doesn't answer that question at all. Instead, she does this.
She's like, I'm just going to give you this instead.
This incredibly rare gift that she and Rand now are the only people that we know who understand how to do this in this world.
Well, doesn't we think Egwene does?
Yeah, Egwene, right? Egwene doesn't do this. She uses the world of dreams to essentially do something that serves the same purpose.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Dominatrices. So these are our two angry
annoying,
and domineering
entitled
women in that we get in this prologue.
Dumb and dumber, crazy and crazier.
So
yeah, the Real Housewives of I don't know where they are.
The Real Housewives of the Westlands.
I wish it were Abu Dar.
Yeah, right. Abu Dar.
I like the Real Housewives of the Westlands.
We get the first moment of Elida's arrogance when she sits and reflects on her tower, and she wants to ensure that her tower rises 10 spans higher than the White Tower. And she's demanded from this stonemason that he make it so, even though the only reason the White Tower is as high as it is because Ogier created it and used magic.
Yeah, and she was upset that the Ogier are not around. Building things for her.
They're right because they're sequestering themselves to their steadings, so they won't come out and do any work.
They
for
were
her.
probably like, have you met this woman?
Right. That's the other thing.
She's not who I want to be.
Even if they were like around doing masonry, I don't see them agreeing to actually work on this thing for her. But
yeah, I think this is a great personality trait. Jordan is pointing out that she needs that tower to be taller.
Yeah.
For what reason? For only one reason.
Well, and unfortunately, it's just going to lead to the death of a bunch of stonemasons. I mean, you're just gonna constantly have stonemasons falling from the scaffolding that's set up to build this thing.
Like the World Cup.
It's going to be right.
Right.
Yeah, except right. Very funny, but unfortunately also very true.
Very true and sad.
The other thing is Elida can't seem to understand why the Amerlin does not have a palace of her own.
Oh my gosh.
Why might there not have been one of these? Why might there not be a palace for the Amerlin? Well,
first of all, that person could have just gotten killed easier, I would imagine.
Okay.
I think it's also the fact that it's like she's supposed to be a servant.
Right. Yes, the Aes Sedai are supposed to be servants.
Yeah, and she's the head of the servants, but like...
Yep, that is a good point.
They're supposed to serve...
Instead, she's a megalomaniac, narcissistical idiot.
They're supposed to serve the royals of the, of the continent. And they... don't forget that there's a little cat and mouse game going on here, right? Because on the one hand, they're ultra powerful, and prior to Rand, nobody else on the continent was as powerful as they were. So that the way they mitigate that power is to create the appearance of meekness through servitude.
Nice. It all goes to that clock.
And now with all of this, with this demonstration of power through having her own palace, all it's going to do is make people question this society and whose ends are they serving? Because clearly now they're just serving their own, which up to this point for hundreds and hundreds of years, they've been viewed as servants of others.
Adam, she brought that ridiculous clock up, which symbolizes everything Eric is talking about. Yeah. The fact that rulers are going to bow down and everyone's going to worship the Aes Sedai and blah.
Yeah, that crazy cuckoo clock she has.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to see her downfall.
Elida suspects that the Hall of Sitters follows Alviarin's wishes as much as hers. We knew of Elida's pride before this prologue, but here we get a full sense of her desire to dominate.
There's so much going on in this, of just being out of touch with reality, being so wrapped up in herself she can't see the forest through the trees. She's so like this is I don't even know how to say it other than like she's becoming fully delusional. She's creating this world around her that she lives in that's based on no speck of reality. Like no matter the input that she gets about like things that are happening in the world and the notes that are happening, nope, because I conceive it to be this way, it can't possibly be any other way. Like she is fully delusional.
And Alviarin notes this. She knows that Elida always has seen what she wants to, even when it's impossible.
I feel like it's getting worse.
One interesting...
she's gotten more quote-unquote power.
Right, yes. Yeah. That's what it is this has always been who she is.
With the power comes increased delusion.
She's always wanted to be somebody who was in control of everything. And I mean, she really... The funny thing is, like, she basically is the Dark One. She just wants to control everybody and everything and have the world run the way that she wants it, as opposed to the way anybody else wants it. But... interestingly enough, we do learn that her intentions with Rand are not to simply throw him into a dungeon. That she does want to have him close, but she doesn't plan on simply imprisoning him.
She wants him on her leash.
She wants him guided and supervised,
right?
But not imprisoned.
Who knows what would happen after?
So another, other evidence of her arrogance is the fact that she's broken another taboo by removing a red Teslin and a green Jolene from their sitter positions. So now she's removing or sending away these heads of Ajas, which the Amerlin seat is not supposed to be in control of. She's gaining more power, and therefore she's clutching for more control.
I think she's making a lot more work for herself. If you're getting rid of those heads of Aja, then you're the one that's overseeing it as well.
No. She's putting people who are more biddable into their places.
Okay. Yeah, sycophants.
And
right, but it's
before we leave her, we get a final taste of her arrogance. This is a quotation from the book. The Chronicles could hardly record the years of the last battle without mentioning the Dragon Reborn, but she knew that one name would be written larger than all the others. Elida Dovrani Alroyhan, youngest daughter of a minor house in the north of Murundi, would go down in history as the greatest and most powerful Amerlin seed of all time. The most powerful woman in the history of the world, the woman who saved humankind.
Are we going to hear someone else think the same thing of herself?
Another woman?
Well, it happens in the next epilogue.
Oh, well, not as an Amerlin, but yeah, as a... Yeah.
Oh,
not
right.
as an Amerlin, but as the most powerful being.
And then I wanted the other... and then she reads out this prophecy, which... could be read as she is victorious, but it's amazing that a woman who knows how to weave words to sound like they mean one thing and actually mean the opposite because she's an Aes Sedai. It's amazing that she can't see how her own prophecy could mean something other than victory.
Yeah. It's that whole one-sidedness viewpoint.
Yeah.
That's all she sees is what she wants to. She wants to happen. Not that anything else could take place.
She's so single-minded, but she's also very smart. And this is the thing that Alviarin can't get over, is that a woman who's this clever just has such a huge blind spot. And she clearly does. I mean, anything that opposes her or anything that's outside of her desires of how things should progress, simply gets brushed aside, and she doesn't even. She's not considering a lot of challenges to her situation, other than a couple of Aes Sedai here and there who she thinks she can just get rid of and send to who knows where. There's some giant pen somewhere with just a huge collection of Aes Sedai.
She keeps sending to all these farms out there in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
What are they going to do? Maybe they're going to get really good at woodworking.
Farm.
They're raising talking pigs.
Yeah.
So Savannah has now twisted the truth of history to the point where she claims it was the Aes Sedai who betrayed the Aiel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why I'm naming this podcast, Who Do You Hate the Most?
This is so convenient.
And the Shido just
clever.
go along with it.
They're like,
That's clever.
sounds good. Why not?
So one of the wise ones under her thumb is Tharava. How are these two going to maintain control over those who killed Dysane? Because remember that she had Dysane killed at the end of the last book to look like it was Aes Sedai, and she's using this idea that basically the sole motivation for driving the Shido is the fact that she claims the Aes Sedai killed one of their wise ones. How long can she maintain control over this group of other wise ones that know that she engaged in murdering one of the other wise ones?
I have a feeling for a good amount of time.
All it takes is one of these other women to get some ambition.
All it takes is one of these women to cross her and they're dead, though.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, depending on how clever they are.
I mean, she seems to be pretty cunning.
She just seems to be pretty brazen. She's a little cunning, but more than anything, she takes extreme measures when people would think, oh, I'll get a slap on the hand for this instead of being executed for it.
Yeah, I mean,
that is clever.
I don't think it's clever. I think it's just aggression.
It's ruthless.
Just sheer aggression. Yes.
She's a Targaryen.
Yeah. Savannah does have a clear idea of what she's doing to the Shido today.
Yeah, they're pushing spears.
And the fact that she is breaking
those spears.
She's, breaking all sorts of taboos. But she suspects no one else, including the wise ones, actually understand what she's doing to the Shido, which is really kind of driving them today to be something other than Aiel.
To push their spears.
I think a quotation from the book here is, for all their decision that if they were to be in the dance of the spears, they would be in it. Not on a rise apart. She did not believe they yet realized that the true battle today was theirs to fight. After today, nothing would be the same again, and tethering Randall Thor was the smallest part of it. So this is the Battle of Dumais Wells is a major turning point, not only for Rand's trust in Aes Sedai, but also who the Shido are. I mean, Savannah believes.
I think it was supposed to be.
She believes that. Yeah.
Well, it was supposed to be, and then it did not quite turn out that way.
No, the outcome.
There was, in the words of Prong, a rude awakening.
The outcome doesn't matter. It's what they've done. They've attacked Aes Sedai.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah, but I mean, in the grand scheme of what the Shido have done against every other clan in their nation, I mean, is that really going to make any sort of difference?
Yes.
Honestly, to everybody. No, I mean, maybe to them, but I don't think it's going to make any difference to any of the other clans. They already view them as Datsang or whatever that word is. So,
yeah.
Honestly, I don't think this faces anybody else. And if it faces the Shido, it really shouldn't.
In the same way that in their history, the murdering of the two or remember their history that one little boy goes and kills a bunch of
how it all starts.
Athan Mier, right?
Yes.
He kills
not Athan Mier, not the sea folk.
He kills Tinkers.
Yes.
He kills a bunch of
but the Tinkers weren't the Tinkers yet. They were
he kills a Tinker. Well, right.
The watchers of the whatever, yeah.
The Tuathan, that's who they were.
Yeah.
that's a major turning point. That turning and that murder of the peaceful folk is a major turning point because it changes the mindset of the people as to who they are, or in that case, it changes the mindset of that small group as to who they are. I think that this attack on the Aes Sedai changes the mindset of the Shido as to who they are and what their purpose is. Their purpose is no longer to serve Aes Sedai.
Yeah, I would agree with that. They hold so much, like so much of their core being is their history and what they're taught. It even comes up with Savannah when she's holding that spear. Like she has to hold it a certain way, or else people are going to think oddly of her or think that she shouldn't be holding this position. So I think it would be a big deal to the folk if they are attacking the Aes Sedai. It is crossing a line. I mean, they've done terrible things to this point, like you said, Dave.
I'm just so torn on it. It's like I feel like this is all part of her delusions of grandeur. Like I feel like she thought it was going to be this monumental event, and like they're crossing the Rubicon at this point. But I don't think it actually happened. Yes, I get that they attacked Aes Sedai, and if there had been a better outcome, it would have been this monumental thing. But I don't think I mean, and I could be wrong, but I don't think it's going to turn into that. I think it's going to be a monumental failure. Like they were supposed to achieve this grand thing, and yes, they were supposed to once again, take this irrevocable step forward, and maybe they did in some aspects. But what did it get them? Destruction. Like that's not a good. It's not a good start.
Right, but we're not talking about a change through victory. We're talking about the change occurs when the people decide to actually attack the Aes Sedai in the first place. Now there is some resistance, right? Because despite Savannah's commands, the Algai Disaswai can't find the temerity to attack the circle of Aes Sedai. So even during the attack, there's some resistance, but the overall, like at this point they're totally adrift. They share nothing with their past any longer. They are a completely separate entity. And remember, all of these societies have some kind of a past that's important to them, from which they draw purpose and direction. And this group, the only purpose and direction that they have is Savannah's. They have no history any longer. They've completely abandoned it.
No, I mean they have it. They've walked away from it. I mean, whether you acknowledge your history still is there or not, it's still there.
In the first two sections of this prologue, we have a study of two women who desire power more than good. Ugh. So what are some of the similarities and differences that you guys see in Elaida and Savannah?
They're both narcissistic megalomaniacs.
Yes. Okay. They're both delusional.
Similarity.
They're both delusional. The difference is, I think, is
well, okay. So what are Savannah's delusions? Because she would have won this victory if Perrin hadn't shown up.
Well, yeah. Well, no, that's debatable, because whether Perrin showed up or not, the Ashaman were going to show up. So
okay.
I don't know. You might be right. You might not be right. I don't know. But the Ashaman were going to show up regardless.
You're right. The Ashaman, but she has... Nobody knows about those guys. Nobody.
No, but also her idea is to go and get Rand and then break him and then marry him and then have him
be a dog on a leash.
That's probably
freaking delusional.
Yes, that's probably not going to happen. But they very well could have defeated the Aes Sedai, which would have been a huge deal.
Oh, the Aes Sedai themselves, absolutely.
And then gotten to Rand and gotten Rand out of that chest, and then who knows what happens at that point? It's just to my mind, it's just as possible that Rand pulls something and defeats her, as it is that she collars him. So I think
I mean, he proved he could escape from the, he finally figured out how to break the knots. If
right,
were.
Rand is sort of
the Ta'viran's Ta'viran.
Rand is sort of this chaotic element that really has just all this potential that it's almost impossible to overestimate, and all these people constantly underestimate him. So I think that that's where the delusion occurs. But I think that it was totally reasonable for her to feel like they could attack the Aes Sedai and overwhelm them.
Yeah, that move is a good chess move, I would imagine. But you win that battle, then what's the next step from that? I guess you have Rand, and then you go on with that. You're going to break him and use him, I suppose, which everybody wants to do, including the
theoretically, right? I think that obviously both of these women have ambition and a drive to control, but I think that Elaida is more clever than Savannah is. Savannah's
really,
yeah.
I'm going to go the other way.
Okay,
I think Savannah I think. Well, look at the murdering of the person to drive an entire society, as opposed to Elaida just you disagree with me? Oh, penance. You disagree with me? Oh, you're beaten. You disagree with me? Oh, you're sent off to a farm. I'm going to build this palace for myself. You disagree with me? You know better, so just build the palace. Like, that's all it is. It's just a club. She's just a club. That's all she's got. It's her power and her club. Savannah is doing stuff behind the scenes to manipulate people, to, like, I used the word cunning, to do all that sort of stuff. Like, that's, I think, to me, is the big difference between these two. Savannah will use a club, absolutely, but she's doing the stuff in the background that Elaida's not doing any of.
Well, don't forget that Elaida is dismissing these women that you're talking about in order to consolidate power. She dismissed all of the women who helped raise her to power because
that's once again, that's a club. She's just using brute force. That's all she does. She's using, in that case, it's her authority.
Used a club and killed.
But that's only one aspect. That's one aspect. She manipulated an entire society of people to believe something that never happened.
Well, I mean, Elaida hasn't had to manipulate the Aes Sedai into doing anything other than going out and capturing Rand at this point.
Right, because they're just terrified of her. I think the closest Elaida came to that was when she became Amyrlin. The coup that she orchestrated. But then again, that was also, I believe, and I don't know that I necessarily have proof of this, but I think that was part of the Dark One's plan anyhow, even though she's not, of the Black or a Dark Friend. I think they're pulling a lot of the strings behind all that, with Alviarin especially.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't you say that Savannah is like a general and Elaida would be head of state, a politician then? So there are differences in those personalities, and the fact that Savannah is the one getting out there. She's in the middle of it.
But I think you've got something there, Adam. But Elaida eventually, could be. Elaida just sent an army out to go attack the Black Tower. So she's marshaling armies
she's
as
not
well.
The one out there doing it.
True. Yes.
That's what I'm saying, is that Savannah's the one in the mid. Even though she's not going into battle, quote unquote,
right. She's not going into battle. Well,
she wants to be in. She says she does.
She wants to be, but she has no training in that regard.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
But
and she's not going to risk her own life.
Well, she stabbed someone in the back.
She sure did.
Yeah,
she sure did.
She's not going to.
That person got trampled.
And she stabbed that person in the back, not the front.
Right, because she's kind of a coward. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
That I guess so.
But at the same time, though, still, she is on the field of battle.
Yeah. She's just up there.
I don't think we would ever see Elaida on the field of battle.
Obviously not a horse.
I think along the lines of Savannah being, Savannah's aggression, there's evidence of it in this epilogue, or in this prologue with, there's a quotation that says, "The other women were thinking of retreat, not her. She had always known that the easiest path to power lay through conquering men who already possessed it. And even as a child, she was sure she had been born with weapons to conquer them." So she uses her sexuality in order to rise to power,
Not
which
the first or last time
which
that will
Elida
happen.
certainly does not.
She did it with just one smile at Couladin.
Yeah,
That's quite the smile.
Okay.
and that's she lives in a society that these two women live in very
We live
different
in a
societies.
society?
One lives in a society of all women, and then the other one is living in a society with both genders. So
That's
Savannah's
true. I actually haven't thought about that.
Savannah has to use different methods in
What
order
is
to rise to
Savannah
power.
doing?
I think it's a fine line between which of these two women is more cunning, but I think that it seems that Savannah just finds challenges and is just more aggressive than anybody anticipates. It seems that Elida moves a little bit more slowly and more cunningly, whereas Savannah moves swiftly and
I still don't get
with
the
a
cunning
level
in
of
Elida
direction
at all.
that well, I mean, she's smart enough to know that she needs to get rid of those who brought her to power, because otherwise they are the ones who will more than likely bring her down.
I think you're
for
giving
one.
her way too much credit in the smarts category. I think she's just sees what she wants, and she's just going to go ahead and just bluntly get it.
So you feel that Morghese would have used somebody as her advisor who was not very bright.
I think she got stuck with her and had to have her because the White Tower stuck her there. I don't think it was any more.
Couldn't she have gotten
Morghese's
somebody
choice.
else from the White Tower?
I don't
then?
think so.
Why
think
not?
because that's not how it works. You don't say, send me a different advisor to the White Tower. The White Tower tells you what it does. That's the way it's always been.
All right, let's move on to Painted Black. Talk about Alviarin here. So Alviarin has considered killing Elida and still may, but she hesitates to do it without orders. Apparently, she hesitates to do it without orders.
I love that thought's just in the back of her head, probably constantly. Probably like me recently, with the pollen up my nose. Right. Can't get rid of it.
It's just a constant itch under her skin.
She needs that neti pot.
Yep. Apparently, she's been approached by several of the Forsaken in the past. Shamael.
Yeah, these names are just listed.
Belau, Grendel, Lanfear. This poor woman. She got to meet Lanfear. She's pledged herself to the Dark Lord. So I only feel so sorry for her. But she's been bandied about by these people like a kitten's toy. I mean, it's just one Forsaken after the other, and we don't get the sense that any of these people are benevolent. What would you call them? Not leaders, mentors. Whatever.
I mean, she got taught. She got taught one good thing, but
they're not
throughout
mentoring
all of these.
her.
I don't think they're a mentor. But it does seem like she's up for it. She's there for it.
She is, yeah. Alviarin has concluded that Masana is hiding her identity because she is
very
one of the newly arrived Aes Sedai to Elida's summons.
What if it's Elida?
What if it's Elida?
Yeah, just throwing that out there. It's not going to be.
No, it's not going to be.
I know it's not.
There was one Aes Sedai that I thought it might be.
Do you think this person would choose to be a red? It seems like that would be too obvious.
No, I think it is a red. Oh, Danelle.
Oh.
So
Danelle.
So Danelle is an Aes Sedai who was out and away from the tower for a long time and has recently come back. She was this reclusive Aes Sedai who just recently returned to the tower. We saw her in The Shadow Rises. She had 200 soldiers brought into the White Tower disguised as Masons. So she was part of the planning for the coup for Elida. Okay. She is one of Elida's party that takes Swan into custody. She meets as part of Elida's council. She reports on the skirmishes in Shinar and Pedron Niall's political maneuvering in Altara and Mirandy and Ilion in the prologue for the Fires of Heaven.
This person's been doing a lot.
And and she is the only person that Alviarin sees immediately after she leaves Elida's chambers.
Oh. Ew.
So she's close enough to Elida that as far as like proximity goes with where she's housed, where she's sleeping, that she could spy on Elida to a degree.
I spent zero time thinking about this. Interesting.
Don't you feel like any of this Forsaken could spy if they wanted to?
I think that they're powerful enough that like there might be some way, but I don't know how it would come about because we haven't seen any of them, able to become invisible or anything like that.
Oh, sure, but they can travel in the dream world and pop up and be there to listen as well. I'm wondering if this person would choose to be in the tower or choose to be in Tower 2, because it seems like being in Tower 2 would be a smart move.
Remember Alviarin's thoughts that Masana is hiding her appearance.
Sure.
And the reason she's hiding her appearance, Alviarin concludes, and so do I, is because she's someone that Alviarin knows. Alviarin's not going to know somebody in Tower 2. There's no need for Masana.
Oh, you know what? I was thinking about the fact that she just might have been hiding her appearance to everybody, but in particular, this is just to her when she's meeting with her. So, okay.
Yep.
That is so creepy.
What?
That is just, I know you've chosen to sell your soul to the devil, obviously, by meeting with all of these Forsaken. But you know in your head that this is someone that you could be meeting every day. And it could just be some girl or some woman that you're talking to all the time.
But would it really make any change? I mean, in the sense of like, why does it matter if she knows her or if she doesn't know her? She's going to obey her no matter what. She has no choice.
Yeah,
that is a good question.
It's just terrifying that there's somebody around that's that powerful that.
But she knows there is.
I mean, so this.
She knew what the other ones looked like.
They do terrifying stuff. I mean,
but here's the thing:
we get this history of the Amerlins that have been taken down by Black Aja that are just secretly embedded there in the White Tower.
She already knows she's spying on the meetings, so we can just, for the sake of argument, assume she's like almost everywhere all the time, or in the important places.
Well, but remember, she also is aware that she also says a couple of times she knows they're not omniscient.
Right. Take that into account. What I mean by this is the fact that it goes to who cares who. I get, she's like, okay, well, she must be in the tower, but what does that really change? Your guard's going to be up. So you think, okay, well, if I know it's so-and-so, then I can not worry about them being, X, Y, Z. No, you have to worry that much more. And it's like it almost doesn't matter who she really is, because at the same time, if you know who she is, you're going to have your guard up. If you don't know who she is, you're going to have your guard up. What's the difference?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I understand that. It's just creepy. It's just creepy.
It's very creepy, but it also just might be a move that is, you're right, you're going to have your guard up either way, but maybe she would give away the fact that this person's a Forsaken because of her behavior when she's around her to other people. Who knows? I have a question, though. Why is she not able to feel her power?
Because she's reversed the weaves on her.
That's it?
On herself, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
That's smart. Why don't more of them do that? Well, I guess because that's explained.
They don't want
to show off.
Right. We mentioned the fact that Masana shows that she has demonstrated to Alviarin in the past that she's aware of what goes on in these meetings with Elida.
Right, yeah.
So if she's aware of it, what is going on here with asking Masana or with asking Alviarin to repeat everything word for word and and describe everything that she sees on Elida's face during these meetings?
Maybe so that she knows that she can trust what she's saying to her.
Or I mean, maybe she likes trying to catch people lies and punishing them for it. Maybe she's cruel that way. I mean, we know one of them. We know one of them is the Catwoman. Just likes to hurt people.
I also think she does it as just a show of power. That she's showing Alviarin, look, I can make you do this, and you have to go through all of the pain,
jump through all these hoops, and
exactly. It's a domination thing. I mentioned really, really briefly that we get some tower history here. So we learned that Ishamael,
or is it Tower Sistery?
We learned that Ishamael was originally using the Aes Sedai Jarna Malari as his tower spy, but she overstepped her bounds with one of her plans, and Ishamael killed her,
beat down
in his wrath upon discovering the plan, and then Alviarin took that woman's place. We also learned that there's a Supreme Council of the Black Aja that consists of 12 Aes Sedai. Jarna Malari had been the head.
It's not 13.
I mean, 12 is also a very popular number for these things.
24 is a dangerous number.
Malari had been the head of this council until she started that plan in motion that involved an interrogation of the Amerlin Tamara Ospena. But the interrogation was so strenuous, the leader of the Aes Sedai couldn't survive it, and then the death was then made to appear as if it had happened in her sleep. It's this murder that brought Ishamael's wrath down on the leader of the Black Aja. And apparently he trapped her in a terangrial that tortured her so much her screams could be heard emanating from it for 10 days.
Oh, bro.
She must have been freed from the terangrial, because we learned that whatever her plans were, they weren't shared with the rest of the Supreme Council. But they found her, like I said, they found her and concluded that she had died in her sleep. Additionally, the plans that she put in motion weren't stopped for another 2 years after the death of a new Amerlin seat, Saradin Vayu. So Alviarin wonders if Elida was involved in that death, because the Black Aja were not. So that's
how long has Alviarin been around for?
I don't know.
I mean, she's been around for at least, I think Swan's been Amerlin for 20 years. The prior Amerlin doesn't sound like she lasted more than 2 years, so that's not that long. So maybe she's been around for 30 to 40 years.
Yeah, but I mean, she's been around through some Amerlins.
Well, right. Partially because of, the doings of the Black Aja.
Yeah.
So, remember that when Egwene and Elaine were initially told to go and find the Black Aja, there was this little, this list that Swan had of, somewhere around 13 women that had disappeared from the tower. But we learn here that they've been there for a very long time and were working out plans well before Rand was even born.
Yeah, those were questions that were brought up books ago. It's nice to have that brought up to show this history.
And there were always suspicions. I think Moiraine and Swan had suspicions that their previous two Amerlins had died.
Yeah, there was something. Yeah,
suspiciously. So, we get the facts here, and it's interesting that Alviarin has been central to a lot of this. She's been really, really close to this, and it seems like she must be head of this Black Aja society now.
How does she ever sleep?
Very carefully.
I would try to get out of the tower if I were her. Just get away.
I don't think she has a chance.
No, she doesn't have a choice.
There's no choice.
She has no choice. Clearly, Masana wants her there.
She just needs a vacation.
All right, children of the corn.
Does anyone else feel like Nynaeve interrupts the rhyming flow of Egwene and Elaine?
and Savannah.
Nynaeve does?
I'm not sure why.
Because
Is this what you've been thinking about?
I just heard it because Eric said Egwene and Elaine and Nynaeve, and I'm like, Nynaeve, you just messed that up. Yet another thing to hold against you.
I'd like to hold my head.
You're messing up the Friends rhyme.
So rumors of Morghese finding refuge with the Children of the Light have been spread by Niall himself. Remember that we're constantly outside of Amadisha. We're hearing rumors that Morghese is with the Children of the Light, which most people just dismiss out of hand because it's so absurd. But these rumors exist because Niall has been spreading them to sort of soft introduce this idea across the continent. So he's doing a soft open and of the idea of Morghese being associated.
Notes, so what did people say?
Right, exactly. Yes, he is. He's been using Bulwer and just getting feedback. I've read your feedback and I'm going to implement these concerns. Niall believes that the White Tower is a sink of iniquity. That might be a bit extreme, but is there any truth to that?
I mean, if you say it enough, one time it's going to be true, right?
Well, no. I mean, I don't think one time equals a sink.
No, that's a terrible.
A sink of iniquity.
That's a terrible sentence. It's just not true.
Yes, has the odd Aes Sedai here and there done something absolutely terrible? Probably. But I mean, now that we've been around this institution for 6 books or 5 books, like there are a lot of problems.
It's a broken institution.
It
has some good things coming out of it.
Does anybody disagree with me?
No.
So Niall's sort of right.
Sure.
In 1/10 of a percentage of a viewpoint,
also
sure.
Terrible.
Well, I don't think 1/10 of a percentage makes you right then.
Well, you are still 1/10 of a percent correct.
Yeah,
so it
you
does.
Still got that. It's like you can't. You can't be 0%.
Correct.
Right. You can't be 0%. Asanawa hates the Aes Sedai, so it's funny that he has the same relationship to the truth that they do.
He hates everything. He hates everything that is not a questioner.
The truth is so important to him that when he comes in, he doesn't let what's his face kill Niall, Valda. He rests on this technicality that he does not want to witness the murder. He doesn't want to witness.
He doesn't want to see his plans coming to fail.
Killing him. Well, no. He doesn't want to see Valda killing him because then he feels like he'll be compelled to.
He'll have to tell the truth
that he does
or
this.
part of the
but
truth.
At the same time, he planned this murder. Like he's almost as guilty of this murder as Valda is.
Well, he is. He orchestrated it all.
So on the one hand, he cannot tell a lie, and on the other hand, it's totally okay for him to plan a coup to murder his superior. And he hates Aes Sedai, who engage in this sort of behavior repeatedly.
Yeah.
It's just so funny. He's such a hypocrite.
Well,
he's such a huge
Do we
hypocrite.
really often see the Aes Sedai killing each other?
No. I'm talking about the manipulation of the truth, of the fact that they can't lie, and yet they constantly seem to find a way around that.
Because
And so if you can't lie, ostensibly you're obsessed with the truth, and clearly
he's
the
taken
Aes
that
Sedai
and he's
are not.
upped the ante.
Well, he's just really
that
twisted
is true.
it.
This is this whole thing about there are these rules you can't lie. It's pretty interesting, but no, it's just easily pussyfooted around.
Yeah, he's
pussyfoot.
He's pussyfoot. Let us
pussyfoot.
He's and in some ways he's like Galad. He's
without
not quite
without the moral compass.
Right. Yes. Correct.
Well, we'll see how long that lasts for.
So Pedro Niall is dead now.
Yeah, which
that's so
much
crazy.
as we didn't like him, I would rather have him.
Yeah. How problematic is this now for the Children of the Light?
Well, I guess we'll find out. It does not bode well, in my opinion.
Right. Why?
Well, because you got some. Well, okay. So we don't know enough about Niall to not know that maybe he did some of this sort of stuff before. He might have, for all we know. I mean, he might have done these types of things these type of ruthless acts, but he, at least from the evidence we were presented, he still treated Morghese well. He manipulated her. He backed her into a corner. He got what he wanted, but he was still a gentleman, let's say. I don't know. I just have this foreboding feeling about it. And it's based on nothing. Well, it's based on the fact that he's in cahoots. Like, I don't feel like Niall would have ever been in cahoots with Asanawa.
And why is that a problem?
Because Asanawa is... what's that?
I'm in the middle of it.
Right, exactly. Asanawa is just like... He's too Machiavellian. Like, he's just so... it doesn't matter what I do. I have to get to where I'm going. And I feel like Niall maybe was that to a lesser degree. And meanwhile...
Asanawa, smarter or dumber than Savannah?
Oh.
I don't know if we... I guess we have enough information now. This seems like a good move that worked out for him.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of worked out for him.
I
don't think it actually has worked out for him, because while he got rid of Niall, it's like you thought you were getting rid of, the cat in the hen house and the foxes around the corner, and you just made the fox the ruler. So now you've got this guy who already went along with your plan, but in the background was like, oh, I'm going to hedge my bets also. So you think you're getting me under your thumb, but really I've got you under mine. Like the guy that's now the head, Valda, yeah, because Valda got the other guy on his side that not Asanawa thought was going to go with him and side with him, but he one-upped him. Like he got the blessing of the hand to do this murder. He's now in charge. He's got everyone on his side, and they've got to go along with him.
Well, Valda was smart and did a little bit of an end run here and got some support that Asanawa wasn't
was on his side.
Right, in order to ensure that he didn't need Asanawa's help in order to be raised to the Lord Captain Commander.
Yeah, he's got everything going for him.
So Asanawa, smarter or dumber than Savannah?
I mean, like you said, Eric, Savannah had a good plan to go take out the Aes Sedai. I think that I don't know, because I'm saying Savannah's dumber. I think he seems a little less. He seems more smart, because Savannah thinks that she can be the ultimate ruler, and I don't know that. Do you think that Asanawa thinks that he's going to be the ultimate, like the everyone's going to answer to me guy?
Not now that Valda has taken over.
Well, but I think they're exactly the same, and here's why: they both bet big and they both lost big.
Well,
they both thought they were going to get something, and neither got what they thought they were going to get. She thought
it does
that they were going
not
to win
seem
this
like
war.
Savannah thought she lost, by the way.
Well, whether she thinks it or not, it happened. So,
well, no,
we'll see.
what she
She's
thinks
wandering around with
matters.
something in her little pocket.
Well, we're going to find out what that does for her. But my point is, she wagered everything on this, and she lost.
She's aware she lost. She's going to keep
wagered
pursuing,
everything,
but she's aware she lost this battle.
And he also lost, because while Niall is gone,
he didn't totally
now
lose, though. Here's where
we
your
don't know
totality thing actually comes into play.
We
he
don't
didn't
know
totally
yet.
lose.
We don't know yet. We don't know yet. Just like we don't know what she's actually lost with this box she's got. We've got to yet find out how this all plays out.
Well, no, we know she lost that battle. We're just talking about this battle.
But he lost this battle also because he thought he was going to have a new Lord Captain Commander under his thumb, and he doesn't.
That's one element of it. But
that is the only element.
Niall is dead.
Right. Okay. But who knows? Now he thought he had a tamed wolf, and he doesn't.
So because
yes, that's true.
I feel like Asanawa could have just killed Valda in that room, but you brought up because he tells the truth, quote unquote, all the time. Then he wouldn't be.
Asanawa would never be able to bring himself to do that. He would need someone else to do it for him.
Yeah. Oh, there's that as well. Yeah.
Now one of the great commanders is dead.
Yeah.
And whether or not you think. And I think that
by the hands of a patsy,
I think that Asanawa and Valda Asanawa and Valda cannot hold a candle to the intelligence of Niall. Niall clearly has his blind spots. We know what those are.
They were bad. They were bad.
But he
What do you think they were?
Oh my gosh, he could not see.
He doesn't believe in magic. He doesn't believe in prophecy.
He thought that the dragon was set up by the White Tower, and that everything that he could not see past the White Tower into reality.
Yeah, but you don't. But you're not an amazing general without being able to see a bunch of things in motion and figure out your way to maneuver through them. I mean that it takes a high level of intellect to be able to do that, and now
that's
to removed.
Being able to have the respect to command the men,
right? And now that's gone,
right? But he lost.
You mean he got assassinated?
Yeah, he lost. He wasn't smart enough to keep holding on to it. So now we've got the guy who replaces him, whom I don't know that we know.
It doesn't take much to kill somebody.
How old is he?
That's kind of irregardless of my point. We don't have enough.
Well, you said he lost as if like that was a demonstration of his.
Yeah,
ignorance.
Absolutely his power was slipping, and I think he would admit as much. If he was as sharp as he used to be, that would have never happened.
Do you think it was him sitting around playing games with more gays that was the ultimate downfall?
Well, I think it was. Of him, yeah. The fact that he didn't just kill her, the rest of the White Cloaks were like, yeah, you should be dead. We can't have this. But I don't think we have.
I don't know that the rest of the White Cloaks. I mean, remember, the rest of the White Cloaks have to get told about this. They're not even aware that this.
Well,
plot
let's say
is
the
afoot.
rest of the White Cloak
This isn't a
power.
democracy.
The rest of the White Cloak
in
power
how
leaders, which are ones that are
in
important.
particular, is going to rise up in the ranks now.
Well, yeah, that I think we're going to see that happen. Yes. But my point is the fact that
I think this is
the White Cloak rulers, who are the ones that mattered, weren't looking happily upon this, and they probably did know. But I don't think we know enough about Valda. I know we know plenty about Niall, but we don't know enough about Valda to be so poo-pooing of him to say, oh, he's going to be a crap leader. I mean, he might be, who knows what he might be? I don't know. I have no idea what he's going to be. I don't have a good feeling about it, though. I much as I didn't like Niall, at least I felt like there was, like you said, the general, and there was this sort of old worldly, gentlemanly type of thing about him that he kind of displayed in the way that he treated Morghese to an extent. He was still trying to get what he wanted, and he did get what he wanted out of her. But I wasn't like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
All right. So let's move on to Gawyn You Suck.
He does suck.
So
once again, who do you hate the most or who do you like the least? That's 6 one way, half a dozen the other.
What are your frustrations with Gawyn?
He's a boy with a letter I in his name. All he does is whine. And he
doesn't have a letter I in his name.
He does.
He's a boy with a letter I in his name?
Boy. He's a soy boy. He's so annoying. Like, he's just so maudlin. Just, oh my gosh. He can't get past. He has literally zero evidence of the fact that Rand has killed his mom. There's no evidence of this in the world at all. It's just rumor, but he's so willing to buy into that he won't accept any other opinion on it.
Well, remember, there's no evidence, but Rand did invade Camelin.
Right, but all the evidence also points to the fact that from rumor that Morghese had left before that. So you can go either way with this, but he's always willing to accept anything that's against Rand. He's not willing to accept the other. There's rumor for the other, but he's not willing to accept that. And he's madly in love with the woman that grew up with Rand and is telling him flat out Rand did not do this, but he still won't hear it. He's just going to go along with it, but he won't hear it. So he keeps going with this whole, I'm going to hate and kill Rand. Okay, and let's think about this for the second.
He's put in a bad spot, man.
I don't care about that. Let's think about this for a second. In no way, shape, or form...
Context is not important.
It doesn't matter. In no way, shape, or form are you going to kill the Dragon Reborn. He's going to blink you out of existence with a snap of his fingers.
He's not going to kill him.
No, he thinks he is. No, How dumb are you?
Remember, in this
very
he
does
same...
now, because he thought that he attacked him at the end of that last battle.
No. He concludes here that he is not going to kill Rand because he's made a promise to Egwene.
No. He still thinks he wants to kill Rand.
Right.
My point is he would never be able to.
No.
But he can't see that. Rand would just look at him and blink and he'd be dead.
Okay.
The power would kill him instantly. And he has to know this. But no,
Well,
I'm
he
going
has
to
revenge
duel
in his
Rand to
mind.
the death. No, you're not, you moron. He's driving me crazy.
That's funny.
How does he? I'm so confused though that he is not aware. Like, why is he so upset at Rand? His mom.
Because he thinks Rand killed his mom. Well, he doesn't know his mom's
that.
alive.
I know, it's so crazy to me that he's part of this.
Right, that's my whole point.
First of all, this makes total sense.
It does. He
Remember,
doesn't have the
Rand
information.
took over Camelin from a Forsaken, which nobody was aware of until afterward when Rand told people, and who knows how far that information has spread. And even if it has,
rumors
it's just
spread, so why
rumor
wouldn't
at this
that
point.
one?
And so people are going to choose which rumors they choose to listen to just
That's
based
just
on their own based on their
Definitely.
own beliefs.
Gawyn wants someone to blame, and he's focused it sheerly on Rand with no evidence apart from any of the other rumors that are out there.
There's no evidence
understand.
against
I
it
kinda
other than
get why he
rumor
did.
also.
Right, but that's the only one he will recognize. Literally, he will not entertain any other rumor. It's just that.
Right. He doesn't go through it. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of critical thinking here.
No.
My frustration with him has nothing to do with that because I totally understand the circumstances under which he concludes that Rand has killed his mom. It's the moping around that just irritates me. He's just
He's a
just a
moper.
milksop here. And
Milk
he does have a
toast.
moment. He does have a moment of clarity during the battle with the Shido. So he's still he's a really good battle leader. He has
He's a good
he has-
fighter.
when he can. But this
yeah.
stuff with Rand, I just see a child, a boy in silk shorts lying on a grassy hill with a tree over his head, with his hand on his forehead, just
Silk
writing
shorts.
poetry. I mean, it's just there's there's so much pathos here with him. I just want to strangle him.
Yeah, Jordan really likes writing these characters just lost in their own thoughts.
Yeah. So I get why he believes that Rand killed his mom, and I respect the fact that he is going to honor his promise to Egwene, but just the mopiness, just the amount of sorrow that he feels for his own person is just grating.
Yeah, it's really getting poured on like gravy. Not
Adam,
like gravy, 'cause
who
gravy's
is your
delicious.
Coplin of the week?
I mean, this is a tough one, but it's going to just be Elida.
Okay, Elida it is.
Yeah.
No
In fact,
explanation needed.
we had so many to choose from.
Yes, this was a challenging week to just pick one.
It's the
Yeah.
name. It's the name
I
of the
want
podcast.
to group them all together, but I'm going with Elida just because I feel she is so lost in what it is that is happening around her.
Okay.
And she's obviously she is definitely going to be being controlled by the Forsaken and is not aware of that and is just absolutely blind to the facts that are taking place. So,
How do you think she's going to be controlled by the Forsaken?
I mean Avienda?
Alviarin?
No.
Alviarin?
Avienda, not Avienda.
But like, how do you
It's
see it
Alviarin.
happening?
I don't know. It seems like it's one step away from happening.
Because
I
remember,
don't know
like
why-
all
I don't know
Alviarin
why-
does at
well,
this
maybe
point
not.
to control her is to just ignore certain plans of hers. Like she's not
Yeah.
doing now. She wanted to kill Elida, so there is that.
Yeah,
but
well,
but
she
Masana
does,
is
but she
preventing
doesn't
that
want
from
to
happening.
because they're telling her not to.
Right.
So
I mean, the only thing that could happen would be that Masana shows up and sneaks up on her and uses, what's that talent called?
I don't know why she wouldn't. Yeah, what Gabriel was doing.
What is that called? It's called
Which one? Manipulation or what?
no. Well,
No,
yes, but it's not called
yeah,
manipulation. Compulsion. Thank you.
Is that only a male? That's not only a male.
No.
Female.
No.
What? Well, Gideon was a master of it.
Right.
So, but I think that Masana is holding off on that because she just doesn't want to be that forward right now. She's
Well, also
using
she's
other
probably
methods.
looking around and being in glee of what.
Glee.
of what she's seeing happen.
Yeah,
with
I
this
mean,
quote unquote leader.
Right. She's crumbling the tower by just her own work. The Forsaken don't need to do very much. Elida is ruining the tower all on her own. My Coplin was Savannah. She's ruining her own society. Well, not society, but her own group of Aiel all on her own.
Yep.
Dave, who was your Coplin of the week?
Oh, I was done the first
Gawyn?
15 minutes of reading this.
Oh,
this
it's not
prologue.
Gawyn.
No, it's Elida. Historically, as we've gone through these books, I have detested her, and it all came to a crystal clear point in this chapter. Like, just everything you didn't like about her was brought under a gigantic Hubble telescope here. It was just, everything was brought into focus. If you didn't like something about her, you got like just shoved down your throat in this prologue. It was so bad. She's just so, she's beyond redemption at this point. For me, the worst part about it is,
we're cheering for her death at this point.
Well,
yes.
The worst part about it is she's not a dark friend.
No, that's sort of the best part about it.
She's just bad.
She's just an idiot.
She's just, you almost wish that she was a dark friend so you could be like, oh, she's just a dark friend. But no, she's just rotten through and through, but she's not a dark friend. That's even worse. She's just committed to herself, not to any greater cause at all. Whether that cause is evil, whether that cause is good, she is simply committed to herself.
Yep.
Yep.
Who leveled up? Dave.
Alviarin.
Yeah,
Alviarin.
nice call.
Hands down. She's now learned to travel. She's got a gateway. She did a little. I still don't think it matters much in terms of, who Masana is. But she is like, oh, light bulb moment. She's someone in the tower that I know. Like she just leveled up. Now she's like.
Well, and you can
she's
see
ahead
her
of the Black
thinking
Odds,
through,
she can travel.
trying to figure out who Masana is. Like, she's very clever.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like her, but amongst all the people that I hated this week, she leveled up.
She leveled up for me also.
What'd you say?
She leveled up for me as well.
Oh, okay.
Who you got, Adam?
What you got?
So this is really dumb, but mine was gonna be my Coplin of the week, but I think he does level up, and that's Pedro Niel. He dies before he sees his entire thing crumble around him.
How is that a level up? The man dies.
I want to hear this explanation.
It was gonna he could stay alive and watch it all happen and be tortured forever, or just be cut off thinking, "Hey, everything's going well." And then he dies.
But he dies in complete frustration.
I could see if, like Obi-Wan Kenobi, he came back and was there to guide somebody else toward victory. But he's just gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
That's the most frustrating thing is that note sauced
he was in power
wine
for a long time. He was an old man
by the sea.
He just got to play Stones with Morgaze.
You really like that, don't you?
Time with her.
That didn't get to come to fruition. Whatever that plan was that
not only
Morgaze
that,
was
20 years
using.
younger or 25.
He dies and he lost the last game of Stones that he played before he died.
He had a great time though.
Well, and
this was a tough week, and I stick by what I said.
And his note goes unread. That note that he struggled to clutch in his hands.
Which he really thought that it was going to happen, but he died thinking it was. So
we can all assume it means the Sean Chan are coming.
To him,
the Sean Chan are coming. I'm going to add something new in here. So we've had all these books, and they've had all the titles. Why do we think this book is going to be called A Crown of Swords? I think this would be kind of a cool thing to do. In our intro.
We did it with Lord of Chaos, and we did it with...
I completely forgot about that.
So that's fine.
I think because whoever wears this is not going to be...
But what is it?
Not going to be comfortable for them.
Well, I don't think it's anything specific.
Is it a physical thing?
I think it's a metaphor.
Okay.
For
so we don't think it's
somebody being a battle lord.
Thing. Okay.
I don't. No, I think that we're in for a very violent
Short
a
book.
very violent, right? Shorter.
Bring it.
book.
I would love that.
That's my guess as to
Okay.
why it's called The Crown of Swords. Adam?
Oh, I said that it's whoever is put in power is going to be struggling mightily with the power that they have, and
Okay.
thinking that it's a burden rather than the glory that they would have thought it would be. Or it might just be someone that would think it's a burden. Rand is thinking that this is a burden for a long time.
So, do we think Samael is going to finally die at the end of this book instead of the last
I would
one?
probably guess so, because how much longer can you delay that?
Right.
I say no.
I mean, this
Oh,
plan
sure,
has
I
been-
know.
says no. I'm going with yes.
You don't even believe that.
You fibber.
All right, well,
Yeah,
that
someone
wraps
else
up
killed
episode 11 and the epilogue of our new book, A Crown of Swords. Join us for episode 12 when we cover the first 6 chapters of this 41-chapter book. Until then, may you rest in the Creator's hand.
May you no go hunting, young bull, and cheese to give you many cubs.
Do viandes et tovias again.